Hannah, what does the loss of Canning mean for the Mets?
It means they need more pitching.
Yeah.
It means that they built this rotation intentionally to have a lot of flexibility, a lot of depth. They needed that depth. They burned through that depth, and now they're getting hit with just too many injuries all at the same time. And it looks like they're going to need to add starting pitching, either from within or at the deadline. I know we were talking through sort of how they'll piece it together with Blade Tillwell, and then when Manaea comes back, if he comes back. But of course, all of those sort of from here on out plans assume nobody else gets hurt. Now, with Canning getting hurt after Senga got hurt and Manaea got hurt, I think you sort of have to start to think okay, the depth, we needed the depth to get us to this point. We're still in first place, but we probably just actually need more pitching.
All right, Tony, so how are the Mets most likely to fill Canning's role internally?
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what Hannah just said, think about this. A couple weeks ago, we're talking about Frankie Montas, does this guy deserve to be in the rotation? Right. Now the Mets, they absolutely need Frankie Montas to start every 5 days. That's where they're at right now. So the good news is that Sean Manaea should be back before the All-Star break, looking at maybe that towards the end of that first week of July. But in the short term, it's going to be Blade Tidwell, who deserves a start after how he performed last time. He was very, very good last time out, or at least decent enough that you could potentially look at him and say, okay, maybe this guy given a run in the rotation could be pretty good. Longer term, if Tidwell doesn't plan out, the names that everyone wants to know about are Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong. Tong is electric. I see him more as a guy that maybe the Mets bring up later this season, a potential bullpen weapon. He's got all sorts of funk, but he doesn't have any experience at Triple-A yet. McLean is super interesting. He's a guy who could spin the ball really, really well. He has put himself in position where he is pretty clearly, I would say, the top prospect in this Mets organization right now. However, there's a reason the Mets aren't calling him up right now. They want him to develop a little more in the minor leagues. We'll see how that unfolds. A lot is going to depend on how Tidwell pitches. But as for McLean, that's an intriguing one that if things don't go exactly as the Mets hope they do over the next couple of weeks, maybe we see him in the big leagues itself.
I mean, the guy that everybody's salivating about, the guy that Tony just mentioned, is Jonah Tong. I mean, he's been a strikeout machine at Double-A. I think he's up to 100 strikeouts over 67 innings right now. And, not to hype him up or anything, but this is a guy that models his delivery after Tim Lincecum. So that's the kind of comparisons he's drawn. Not in pure stuff, but you're talking about a guy with an elevated fastball, pitches good curveball, good sweeper, and also a great changeup. So he's got the repertoire. He's going to be in the major leagues at some point. He has an ERA under 2 right now at Double-A. But first, he has to get to Triple-A and get some experience up there. So I know people have made that jump, but I just don't think the Mets are looking to motor him through quite yet. But McLean is a great guy to fall back on here. Tidwell's interesting because he really was impressive in spring training. I mean, I thought he was going to be ready to do very well up here. Unfortunately, the first 2 times he's been here, he's looked a little bit overmatched and he's got beat up a little bit. So I think they're going to work their way down to McLean eventually. Maybe Tidwell kind of settles in these next couple times, but McLean is the next guy on the list, and Tong, I think we're just going to have to wait a little while on.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets have already been, assuming Manaea comes back at some point, that'll be 9 pitchers deep from within the organization. If you go into the farm system, you're going even more. How about outside the organization, Hannah? Who should the Mets be eyeing? I
was thinking about Zack Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks, mostly just kind of getting there from a place of thinking, what are the teams that have a lot of talent still, but might be looking to move players who are in their walk year? Gallen is one of those guys. He has not been great this year. I got to admit, he's got a 5.75 ERA. But this is a guy who, over the first 5 years of his career, has garnered Cy Young votes 3 different times. He's also an East Coast guy. He's from the Philly area. I don't know. He's a reliable starting pitcher. He's done it for years. He has been really good in the past. And if the Mets really believe in their pitching, coaching, development, all that, maybe see if they can tweak back whatever's not been working for him. He's been giving up a lot of home runs, and Citi Field less homer prone, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I mean, Gallen has definitely been interesting in years past. Talking to some scouts around the league, I'm not sure how much he has left in the tank, which is a concern. I'll give you another Zach, though. Zach Eflin of the Orioles, another guy who's a little bit having a down year, but this is a guy who's had a long career, a control artist. He reminds me a little bit, just numbers-wise, of Griffin Canning. So this is the type of guy that I think would come relatively cheap prospect-wise. He's in his walk year for an Orioles team that is badly underperforming. I would love to sit here and say Sandy Alcantara, but I just don't see David Stearns as the type of guy who is going to push all those chips, if he even has them in the farm system, to get Sandy Alcantara. So I'm thinking a little more realistic. Eflin, to me, checks that box.
I mean, you mentioned Alcantara. I mean, that is really the dream shot. I mean, this is a guy who was a Cy Young candidate at his best, already won a Cy Young, obviously, but he's under team control for 3 years. And talking about $20 million a year, the team option for 27, I think, is $21 million. I mean, that's nothing for a guy of his caliber. And he's pitching a lot better now. People are going to look at his ERA and say it's close to 7. It's like, that's because he had a slow start coming off Tommy John. He's pitched in June. I think his ERA is under 3 now. He's on a great kind of dream shot there. 2 other guys that I really like. I'd love to take a crack at a Seth Lugo homecoming. It's interesting to see where the Royals position themselves right now. They're about 4 games out of the wild card. So I think they could be sellers on that. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, so he's a guy that could bring back something. Also, old friend Luis Severino, who, if you look at his splits, he's getting hammered at Sacramento, which is turning into a hitter's park. Away from Sacramento, though, I forget what the name of that park is right now, but it's named after some health system. But anyway, away from that park, he has an ERA that's under 3, and he's pitched great. So I think he's going to be pitching in Yankee Stadium this weekend. Mets fans will get another look at him, but I think that'd be a good guy to take a look at.
Yeah, and maybe just taking on the money and be like, all right, get the A's out from under the contract. The Mets, unfortunately, they're in a spot where you feel like they need at least one more depth piece to get through the rest of the season. Then maybe a big piece would be in that lineup.